So this is pretty much the same kind of discussion piece that I just talked about when I was going over this one right here. So as you can see, you're going to pull an answer from the same wrapper, but a different item. Again, if this is in yellow, double check and make sure that your version of this document says item 3. It might say item 4 or item 2 or something like that, but it should say item 3. So you're going back to that same submission, the way that I've shown you how to do that through the gradebook, and you're going to find your response for item 3. You're going to answer the same questions using the same resources that I talked to you about. I just like to spend 2 or 3 minutes adding something about answering this or whatnot. So let's go ahead and look at a pretend submission or whatever, or look at the source that you'll be using for this. Give me a second just to calibrate this page. So question 3 is item 3. This is an example of what I was talking about in the other video. For some of you, or a few of you at least, you did such a great response, I didn't even need to use a rubric. So I just gave you a 40 out of a 40. You should still be able to open up the rubric, just as I have done in the sample response, and see, well, if I got 40 out of 40, that means that I got 100% on this. So that means I must have gotten full points for all of the standards that she's using in all of the categories. So again, you want to refer to specifics of the rubric. So you'll want to say, okay, well, she gave me the rating of really good for all the standards, including those having to do. So you can say, for example, when it came to relevance, she marked my comment. She gave me a 4 out of 4 points. So if you've got really good, then you've got all of the points possible. You could give another example of like maybe sufficiencies or precision. You can say another example of something that I did really well on that I got full credit for was precision. She says basically that I'm really good at giving details in my writing. She does say that there might be a little bit of room for improvement, but that it's only very slight. So do you see how I paraphrase that and put that into my own words? And again, you might see that, especially if you did not get a perfect score, a lot of you did get some personalized feedback as to why you got maybe a lower score. I tended to do that only with people who really missed the mark in some way. So something I didn't stress in the previous video that I should stress for the critical self-assessment is it's really important to look at the original context of the wrapper item. So you want to reread the directions and the instructions for the critical assessment discussion piece that you're working on. So if you're doing the discussion piece on this page, right? So I believe that this is page, let's look, oh yeah, page 4. You're in objective 2, and let's say you're doing this, any of these pieces, but right now we're focused on this one. So we're doing, we're on page 4, and we're doing this discussion piece. Oh, sorry, no, we're not. We're doing this discussion piece. We're on item 3, and when you're talking about and discussing whether or not you got the score expected, why or why not, and what could you have done better, it's really important to make sure that you've read the original prompt, all of it, okay? Because some of you got lower points on a task wrapper because you did not follow all of the instructions. So for this one, for example, you'd want to read all of this, step 1. You'd want to reread the original lesson. You'd want to read step 2 and everything that goes on to there, all of this. And you definitely would want to read all of this. If you lost points because you didn't follow all of the instructions and hence something was missing or your focus was off, then you're just repeating the same mistake. And the point of a critical self-assessment is to learn from your mistakes. So obviously if you make the same mistake again because you're not following all instructions and tips and whatnot, then, I can't put it any other way, you're not learning from your mistakes. So I want you to learn from your mistakes and assess and whatnot. But, if you did get less than 40, I'm going to say that you can use the rubric. You can focus on maybe the 2 or 3 things that you got the lowest scores for, but definitely go back into the grade book and see if I left you a comment about that specific item. So let me just show you one more time. And this particular video will be over in about 1 or 2 more minutes. Okay, somehow I cannot hold on, I'm having some issues here. Okay, there we go. So just to refresh your memory really quickly, remember, you want to look and see if I left you any personal comments. It's possible that I commented on both item 2 and item 3 in your task wrapper. So make sure you look at that. This one, in this case, pretending it's a student submission, I made a comment only with respect to item 2 of the task wrapper. Usually, if you get perfect scores on something, I don't make a personalized comment. So some of you may have a personalized comment for item 2. You may also have additional comments for item 3, or you may have personalized comments only for item 3. But remember, the rubric can be used along with the personalized feedback to talk about how you could do better. I want to also give you now at this point some more information that you need. Final piece of information. This will be the end of the video. And that has to do with the scoring for item 3. So let me get back into that just to make sure we're focused on the same thing. So task wrapper, no, we don't want that one. We want this one. So when you're talking about whether or not you got the grade that you expected, I want to give you the letter grade equivalents for item 3. So that for this one, for item 3 in the task wrapper for week 8, task 1, you could get 40 points. So if you got a 36 or higher, you got an A. If you got a 32 to 35.99, you got a B on this. If you got 28 to 31.99, then you made a C on this. If you received a 24 to 27.99, you got a D. And if you got less than 24, then you received an F on this. So use that for, did you get the score that you expected? Did you get all of the points? Did you get most of the points? Did you get only half the points? Did you get only little points? With what letter grade did I say that correspond? Did that go with what you expected? Why or why not? Why did you think you would get a certain grade at the time? Even if you're not sure, just reflect. This is partly reflection. Reflect back on when you were completing this, when you had finished it. Why did you think that you might have gotten a certain grade, or what were you thinking you would get as a grade and why? And then, of course, you'll proceed as you did with the other critical self-assessment, using the rubric and any comments to talk about 2 or 3 ways in which you could do better. So again, for this piece, you're going to want to have at least 3 or 4 sentences, maybe 2 sentences here, 2 or 3, 3 or 4. If you really want to go all out, you can have up to 5 or 7 sentences for this part. That's up to you. Okay, so I'm going to do another video for the next part.